In the shadow of insecurity, the psychology behind racial superiority. When we look at racism or any kind of superiority, complex, we often think it's about ignorance, hatred, or lack of education. But in psychoanalysis, it's not just ignorance. It's fear. It's the fear of being small, the terror of not being enough. You see, people who feel truly secure in themselves don't need to look down on anyone, but those who have been unseen. Unvalued or humiliated, they often carry an invisible wound. That wound says you are not worthy unless you are above someone else. So they find someone to stand above. And race sadly becomes the easiest target. By feeling superior to another group, by telling themselves they are smarter, purer, more deserving, they gain a moment of relief. For a second, they can silence that voice inside, whispering, "You're not good enough." But that relief never lasts. Because superiority is not a real identity, it's a defense mechanism. In psychoanalytic terms, this is what we call projection. A person cannot tolerate their own weakness or insecurity, so they project it onto others. They say they are lazy, they are inferior, when deep down, what they really mean is, I feel powerless and I don't want to face that part of me. And that's why racism often thrives not among the most powerful, but among the most insecure, among those who feel forgotten by the system, who have failed to find recognition or meaning in their lives. They use the illusion of racial superiority as a kind of emotional armor. It's a fragile ego's way of saying, at least I'm not them. But there's a painful irony here. The very people who seek power by demeaning others are actually revealing how powerless they feel inside. On the other hand, people who have achieved genuine self-worth through real effort, education, or emotional growth rarely need to assert superiority, because they already know who they are. They understand that strength and diversity can coexist, that different perspectives don't threaten us, they expand us. True confidence doesn't need an enemy. So how do we heal this? How can someone break free from the psychological addiction to superiority? Not through shame, not through moral lectures. Shame only deepens the wound. The healing begins with honest self-reflection, the courage to ask, why do I need to feel above others in order to feel safe? What am I so afraid of seeing in myself? When we face those questions, the illusion starts to break. We begin to see that racism isn't really about them. It's about us. It's about the parts of ourselves we've rejected, the weakness, the fear, the powerlessness. The moment we accept those parts with compassion, we no longer need to project them outward. We no longer need to create an enemy just to feel whole. Because real strength doesn't come from hierarchy. It comes from integration, from understanding that our humanity is shared, not ranked. And maybe that's the ultimate irony, that the ones who try hardest to feel superior are, deep down, just desperate to feel enough. So when we meet arrogance, prejudice, or hatred, perhaps the most revolutionary thing we can do is to see the insecurity hiding beneath it. Not to excuse it, but to understand it. Because understanding, not hatred, is what transforms human beings. And maybe, one by one, as we learn to accept our own imperfections, we can finally stop fighting reflections of ourselves and start seeing each other for who we truly are, in the shadow of insecurity, healing the mind that needs to feel superior.